It's time for St. Lucia Magazine, your monthly wrap-up. Hello and welcome to St. Lucia Magazine, your weekly roundup of the nation's top stories in education, the economy, infrastructure, agriculture, and more. I'm your host, Nival Auguste. In this edition, Prime Minister Pierre calls for shared responsibility to advance national development, and St. Lucia's popular small business expo lures international buyers. Prime Minister Honorable Philip J. Pierre is urging shared responsibility as St. Lucia advances its national development agenda. In his 2026 Independence Address, he highlighted government's investment in infrastructure and healthcare, while calling on citizens to curb reckless driving, protect the environment, and uphold the rule of law. National development remains at the center of the government's agenda as St. Lucia charts its way forward under the theme Du Vent Ensemble, nourishing our people and strengthening our nation. During his 2026 National Independence Address, Prime Minister Honorable Philip J. Pierre underscored that national development requires shared effort.
It's the government's responsibility to provide the country with what citizens cannot provide for themselves: roads, ports, schools, public security, public health care, and the other services that are described as serving the common good.
Prime Minister Pierre issued a strong appeal for improved social behavior, pointing to reckless driving, environmental neglect, and crime as urgent concerns.
Drunk and reckless driving continues to cause unnecessary death and distress, now a major strain on the country's health system. Vehicular accidents have become a health problem. There are simply too many unnecessary vehicular accidents and deaths on our roads caused by reckless driving. Apart from compromising the quality of life of victims of vehicle accidents, there are also economic costs arising from higher insurance premiums for owners of motor vehicles.
Government continues to invest heavily in health infrastructure, including the completion of St. Jude Hospital, with the transition of services now underway. Universal health coverage is also a major pillar of reform. National development also requires personal responsibility. The Prime Minister called for environmental preservation, tax compliance, respect for the rule of law, and an end to reckless driving. For the Government Information Service, I am Nival Auguste. Exhibitors displayed local ingenuity at the 4th Annual Independence Business Expo, held in commemoration of St. Lucia's 47th anniversary of independence. Petula Olibert reports.
The National Independence Business Expo opened to an eager crowd in the town of Vieux-Fort on February 20th. The expo allowed for networking opportunities between local businesses and buyers, with an aim to increase visibility, improve standards of quality, and boost exports. Sunita Daniel, CEO of Export St. Lucia, made the opening address.
The Honorable Prime Minister has made it clear that this term will place significant emphasis on expanding exports and strengthening our productive sectors. This expo is a practical demonstration of that commitment. It is not just a showcase, it is a marketplace. This year, we are proud to welcome buyers from Dubai, Canada, Dominica, and Trinidad and Tobago. Their presence signals confidence, it signals opportunity, and it signals that St. Lucian products are increasingly being recognized beyond our shores.
Minister for Tourism, Commerce, Investment, Creative Industries, Culture and Heritage said the attainment of independence lies in the nation's ability to shape its own destiny and sustain itself through the resilience of its people.
Today, when you behold the diverse range of products on display, from agro-processed foods and skincare lines to fashion, arts, and crafts, you will concur that our MSMEs are the living embodiment of that agency and that aspiration. Our entrepreneurs are taking the richness of our resources and the creativity of our people to build an economic future that is distinctly St. Lucian.
The minister added that government aims to create a prosperous economic landscape that is based on the economic empowerment of St. Lucians. Petula Olibert reporting for the Government Information Service.
Stamped, sealed, delivered. Julian Alfred's Olympic gold medal win has been memorialized with a commemorative stamp. Virgil Leonti has the details.
2, 1. Unveil.
Julian Alfred's Olympic win has been stamped in the annals of St. Lucia's history with the launch of a commemorative stamp. Alfred won gold in the 100 meters in the Paris Olympics in 2024.
So today, this commemorative stamp represents more than the image of a champion. It represents national pride, institutional renewal, and the confidence of a people who know that St. Lucia can excel on the world stage in sport, in enterprise, and in national development.
This was Postmaster General Mr. Joshua Venner. He underscored the significance of the event, stating that stamps are enduring symbols of state recognition. This sentiment was also echoed on by Minister for Education, Honorable Kenson Casimir.
Julian Alfred's journey is one of perseverance and purpose. From her early days as a promising young athlete to competing at the highest levels of international athletics, she has demonstrated unwavering commitment, fierce determination, and exceptional talent. On the global stage, she has not only competed, she has excelled. In doing so, she has elevated the profile of St. Lucian sport and inspired pride in every corner of our island.
Alfred, who has become a national icon and ambassador, addressed the ceremony virtually.
To be honored by my island in this way is deeply humbling. This place shaped me into who I am, my values, my strength, and my dreams. And I truly accept this, not just for myself, but as a symbol honoring the strength of a united community. And I'll always carry my island with pride. And of course, happy 47th independence to St. Lucia.
For the Government Information Service, I'm Virgil Leonti reporting.
Still to come, new income tax amendments deliver expanded allowances, and government announces full pension exemptions for 2025 income tax filings. Stay with us.
Attention everyone, the nomination period for the Jimmy's People's Choice is now open. This is your chance to honor an unsung hero in the tourism industry. Do you know a tour guide who shares hidden gems? A villa host who made St. Lucia a home away from home? Or perhaps a crafty creator capturing the beauty all around? Nominate them now as we celebrate world-class service in tourism. Visit stlucia.org/Jimmy's. Nominations end December 19th, 2025. Nominate today. Jimmy's 2025. Journey to Excellence.
Welcome back. St. Lucian taxpayers will benefit from major 2025 tax relief, including higher child and dependent allowances, expanded deductions, new medical claims, full pension exemptions, and increased investment limits. Glenn Simon reports.
Taxpayers filing for the 2025 income year can now expect notable changes to their returns following amendments to the income tax legislation. According to Acting Deputy Comptroller Cyprian Montrop, the reforms stem from recent budget announcements by the government and are aimed at delivering meaningful financial relief.
One, the child allowance that persons would have normally been claiming $1,000, which is children up to 10 years. Up to 10 years and up to 16 could have claimed $1,000 or $2,000. Now all children up to school age in primary school, secondary school can claim up to a maximum up to $5,000 per child. If the child is attending university or attending a school providing equivalent to university education, they are entitled to now to $10,000.
The dependent relative allowance has also seen a substantial jump, moving from $350 to $5,000. Homeowners will also benefit. The mortgage interest deduction gap has increased from $18,000 to $40,000, excluding personal and medical allowances.
Credit union shares was also capped at 5,000, and now that has gone up to 10,000. So there are all of those increases are geared towards bringing further reduction to the amount of taxes that an employee would pay on a regular basis. Now, in terms of medical, there were some allowances that were not previously allowed. So things like fertility treatment is now part of what persons can now claim as an expense for medical.
All investments made during the filing period can now be claimed up to $10,000 for both local and regional investments.
The other thing that is important to some sectors of the nation is that pension income is now exempt. So in earlier times, you would have filed a return and pension income was included up to a certain amount, and the balance would have been taxed. But now your existing entire pension income, whether you receive it from any sources, an approved pension fund, whether it be from the employer pensions or the government pensions or the NIC pensions, all of that now will be 100% exempt. So pensioners now, only the income that they derive from new employment would be subject to tax as long as they fall within the taxable brackets.
Taxpayers with questions are encouraged to contact the Inland Revenue Department directly for clarification during the filing period.
As we know, the legislation recently was adopted, so now we're in the process of disseminating that information. So persons will be hearing little ads from there and also be seeing flyers which would have that information. But if they do not still have an understanding of what it is all about, we can provide that a level of assistance by they calling to our department at our customer service numbers, and we'll be in a position to assist them in providing the kind of clarification that is needed by them.
The acting deputy comptroller says the changes are designed to ease the financial burden on families and workers. The changes took effect for the income year beginning January 1st, 2025. For the National Competitiveness and Productivity Council, Glenn Simon reporting.
St. Lucia officially launched the Chamber of Shipping, uniting industry stakeholders to strengthen the maritime sector, promote international standards, and advance sustainable practices across the blue economy. Eva Reynolds tells us more.
St. Lucia has taken a significant step towards strengthening its blue economy with the official launch of the St. Lucia Chamber of Shipping. The launch brought together senior government officials, regional and international maritime stakeholders, and industry partners. Invest St. Lucia's CEO, Mr. Octavian Charles, welcomed the official launch of the Chamber of Shipping, expressing pride in witnessing the long-anticipated initiative.
It's been a journey, I must say, from about 2022-23, when we embarked on establishing a Chamber of Shipping. So I am quite happy today to see part of it coming to fruition. The hard work has just started, but at least with the launching, it establishes a map as to how we proceed from here.
Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber of Shipping, Mr. Tariq Khan, expressed the significance of this milestone for St. Lucia's maritime sector.
Today is a groundbreaking moment for us. It's a time where we are moving from vision to action. The contribution that we'll bring to St. Lucia is specifically towards international standards, following best practices. We're working towards being compliant with the International Maritime Organization. These things will get St. Lucia to the table where all of the international players are, and be part of that integration of shipping, global shipping.
Minister for Tourism, Honorable Dr. Ernest Hille, reaffirmed the government's strong endorsement of the Chamber under his ministry's portfolio, emphasizing the critical role of shipping in sustaining St. Lucia's economy.
90% of all trade in the world takes place on the sea. So think of all the things we consume in St. Lucia, that we use in St. Lucia, from construction, medical, sports. 90% of all those activities actually depend on
shipping. This Chamber of Shipping really brings together the shippers, the logistic people, the people who plan if you want something from that place to get to St. Lucia, where it goes and how it goes there. And people involved in just maritime activity, whether it's boating, whether it is, recreation on the seas, whatnot.
Formed to address long-standing fragmentation within the industry, the Chamber will serve as the collective voice for stakeholders in St. Lucia's maritime ecosystem. The Chamber will focus on policy advocacy, international representation, workforce development, and sustainable maritime practices. For more information, visit the St. Lucia Chamber of Shipping's official website at www.stluciacs.com. From the St. Lucia Chamber of Shipping, I am Ava Reynolds.
The Ministry of Health is strengthening public health by training environmental health officers to monitor water quality, enhance response measures, and ensure safe, reliable water for all St. Lucians. Onika McCoy reports.
The Ministry of Health, Wellness and Nutrition continues to strengthen its efforts to protect public health through targeted capacity building initiatives. Based on these initiatives, environmental health officers recently participated in a specialized workshop focused on improving their technical expertise to monitor water quality and strengthen response mechanisms. The training, which focused on water safety and quality, placed emphasis on enhancing officers' technical knowledge as it relates to risk assessment and response procedures, and also ensuring the collaboration with key stakeholders, such as the Water and Sewage Company, Inc., and the Water Resources Management Agency, is reinforced. Assistant Chief Environmental Health Officer Emerson Vitalis emphasized that understanding what water quality means and how it directly affects public health in St. Lucia is essential to ensuring that safe, reliable water is provided to the population.
We want the officers to first understand what is water quality, what does it do, what is the meaning of water quality, how does it impact the population of St. Lucia, and how do we now use that information to ensure within our day-to-day activities that they are able to ensure what is being provided to the population is a good quality of water. We look at water treatment, we look at the inspection processes or the assessment processes of the different supplies of water which we visit. We look at also the public aspect in terms of swimming pools and how that these public swimming pools are being utilized, how they are operating, and again, that it doesn't impact the population when it is being used.
Assistant Environmental Health Officer Jada Perino explained how the training has strengthened the capabilities of officers in vector control to provide more comprehensive guidance to the public.
I work in the vector control unit, so although we don't do water quality testing, we deal with water. Everything we do is about water in terms of sources of water for mosquitoes and sources of water for rodents. So it's important for us to have that information, for us not to only give recommendations in terms of vector control and management, but also to give additional recommendations. Instead of just referring it to the water unit, we as officers are now equipped to give the recommendations on the spot.
By enhancing technical expertise and reinforcing partnerships, the Ministry of Health continues to build a resilient public health system capable of responding proactively to emerging water quality challenges. From the Communications Unit of the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Nutrition, I am Onika McCoy reporting.
Coming up next, Ministry of Finance launches training to strengthen the management of St. Lucia's national assets.
Saint-Lucie est sous Pawe pour les 4e l'année Jimmy's là, puis Tourist Board Saint-Lucie. À présent, c'est un bon temps pour reconnaître c'est ça qui est plus bon en industrie touriste là. Nomination ouverte à présent, jusqu'au le 29 décembre 2025. Adieu, allez stlucia.org/Jimmy's et nominé Jordia Jimmy's 2025 là-haut, excellence.
Welcome back. The Ministry of Finance has launched specialized training for government agencies, teaching staff to use the public asset management system to track, plan, and protect St. Lucia's national assets. Glenn Simon has more in this report.
The Ministry of Finance, through the National Integrated Planning and Program Unit, NIP, has commenced specialized public asset management training, commencing with the Ministry of Education. According to the Deputy Director of Finance, Alison Griffith McDermott, effective disaster preparedness begins long before a crisis. Without that baseline information, accurate budgeting, financial reporting, and post-disaster assessment become extremely difficult.
As a government, our fundamental information is how much assets we have. And so therefore, we need to capture it, not just capture for capturing's sake, but capture it where it can be usable, where various persons can get that information in a one portfolio, where we will call a database, where various persons can use. So whether you want it for a social component, whether you want it for a building, whether you want it from an engineer, where you just want it as a government to know where are the primary places that I need to put my focus on.
The Ministry of Finance has established public asset regulations under the Public Finance Management Framework. These regulations outline how government assets are to be classified, recorded, purchased, maintained, and ultimately disposed of. Director of the NIP unit, Howard Wells, says the objective of the training is to assist government agencies in implementing a standardized approach to asset management.
So the idea is to get the participants trained in the use of the public asset management system, and from there, of course, it's a symbiotic type of relationship. They capture data that helps them in their everyday work, makes it a lot easier as it relates to tracking what happens in buildings.
Participants are being trained to use the Public Asset Management System, or PAMS, a web-based platform designed to support both asset tracking and long-term infrastructure planning. Workshop facilitator and civil engineer at the NIP unit, Fabian Felix, expounded on the benefits of the system.
So the system has two major components. One is a long-term planning component, which looks at infrastructure systems. We've categorized all infrastructure systems in St. Lucia in about 15 sectors. So those systems, they talk to each other. It's a system of systems. What happens in one sector affects the other sector. So that's one. We're able to project what St. Lucia needs as a country over a projected time frame, whether it be 2030 or 2050. The other component are looking at infrastructure system is the risk and vulnerability component. So we are able to assess various climate hazards on those infrastructure systems, whether it be current systems or future systems.
The public asset management system is expected to improve transparency, enhance fiscal stability, and ensure that St. Lucia is better prepared to quantify, manage, and protect its national assets. For the National Competitiveness and Productivity Council, Glenn Simon reporting.
The UNDP and Government of Japan have handed over specialized equipment to St. Lucia's Ministry of Agriculture, boosting the island's capacity to manage sargassum and to protect coastal livelihoods. Zarek Felix reports.
The United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, in partnership with the Government of Japan, has officially handed over specialized equipment to the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Food Security and Sustainable Development, strengthening St. Lucia's national response to the growing sargassum challenge. The handover forms part of the Improving National Sargassum Management Capacities in the Caribbean project, launched in 2022 to support 5 Caribbean countries in building capacity to effectively manage and mitigate the impacts of sargassum seaweed. The initiative, funded by US $12.3 million from the Government of Japan and implemented by UNDP, combines equipment procurement with technical training, capacity building, and the development of site-specific management plans aimed at reducing the negative effects of sargassum on coastal ecosystems, tourism, fisheries, and public health. At the official ceremony, 2 boats, 3 tractors, specialized attachments designed for the efficient removal of sargassum seaweed, and protective equipment were formally presented to the ministry. The equipment is expected to significantly enhance on-the-ground response efforts, particularly in heavily affected coastal communities. Barbados and Eastern Caribbean UNDP resident representative Lemia El Taib underscored the importance of this timely intervention in mitigating the threat of sargassum to St. Lucia's coastal ecosystem, tourism industry, and fisheries sector.
Today, we are here to strengthen St. Lucia's efforts in addressing the challenges posed by sargassum on the coastlines. We are here not only to hand over much needed equipment and very timely and pertinent equipment, but we're also here to reinforce national systems.
Minister for Agriculture, Fisheries, Food Security and Sustainable Development, Honorable Lucia emphasized that strengthening collaborations among nations and agencies has positioned St. Lucia to more effectively confront the recurring influx of Sargassum seaweed.
Today's ceremony transcends the symbolic transfer of machinery and assets. It stands as a testament to enduring international partnerships, shared responsibility, and meaningful solidarity among nations. Through the generous financial assistance of the government and people of Japan, and the technical cooperation of the United Nations Development Programme, St. Lucia is now significantly better positioned to strengthen its national response to the growing and complex challenge of Sargassum influxes. Now, this equipment being handed over today, including tractors, boats, and associated operational tools, represents far more than logistical support. It embodies trust, friendship, and a shared commitment to environmental stewardship and sustainable development. It affirms confidence in St. Lucia's resolve to safeguard its people, its livelihoods, and its fragile coastal ecosystems.
The ministry has reaffirmed its commitment to utilizing the newly acquired resources, ensuring that St. Lucia remains proactive in addressing the environmental and socio-economic impacts of Sargassum. From the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Food Security and Sustainable Development, I am Zarek Felix reporting.
The Ministry of Health led a community cleanup in Oleodennery to reduce mosquito breeding sites, promote proper waste disposal, and raise awareness of vector-borne diseases. Onika McCoy has the details.
The Ministry of Health, Wellness and Nutrition, through its Environmental Health Division, conducted a community cleanup exercise in Oleodennery on Saturday, February 14th, as part of efforts to reduce vector breeding sites and lower the risk of mosquito-borne illnesses. Environmental health officers with support from community members worked together to remove garbage and to identify potential high-risk areas for mosquito breeding across the community. Senior Environmental Health Officer for Vector Control, Charlotte Charles Leo, emphasized that community participation is key to ensure vector control and encourage residents to continue regular yard cleaning and disposal of waste.
What we want to really gain out of it is that we've raised some level of awareness. The community is more aware of the actions or how their actions and behavior can trigger a spike in vector-borne diseases, and basically just encourage clean sanitation within the community, clean environment, a healthy environment.
While the cleanup activity made an immediate impact, Imran Matthew, the chairperson of the Dennery North Constituency Council, says that lasting results will depend on how residents manage their waste going forward.
It is something that we believe should continue. Of course, the council on countless occasions would have made the effort to clear the area of those wastes. We also would want to make a special appeal to the people, of course, to take heed of bulk collection days and other waste so that this accumulation doesn't happen and continue in the community.
The Deputy Chairperson of the Dennery North Constituency Council, Kendall Emmanuel, believes that the time has come for the implementation of tougher rules for waste disposal.
I think the time has come where we need to have legislation that will bring that level of deterrent, where persons will be held responsible where they're not adhering to the basic standards of proper waste disposal.
The Ministry of Health, Wellness and Nutrition is encouraging residents to properly dispose of waste, make full use of bulk collection services, and to regularly clear their surroundings of items that can collect standing water. From the Communications Unit of the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Nutrition, I am Onika McCoy reporting.
And with that, we wrap up this edition of St. Lucia Magazine. A heartfelt thank you to everyone who contributed to this production, the National Television Network, the GIS team, and the communications officers across government ministries. Thank you for watching NTN Channel 122 and following the official social media platforms of the Government of St. Lucia. I am Nivalo Geist. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged as we continue tracking St. Lucia's progress.